Hello there, it's Nick here and a warm welcome to everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean gamers, fans of retro gaming and in particular ZX Spectrum gamers, and also those people that have clicked on the link in error. Hello to you. So basically I'm talking to you. You clicked on the link, I'm talking to you. Am I waffling again? Well, anyway, we reviewed quite a lot of Spectrum games, so every now and again we take a look back. So let's have a look at games reviewed on the ZX Spectrum, 101 to 150. And we're off. Bump, Set and Spike. Now this is a curious game on the ZX Spectrum. You get to control two players, but I find it easier just to have the one. So this one guy runs all over the place just trying to win. Originally it was called International Volleyball, I think, but they've gone for Bump, Set, Spike. I don't know why. But yeah, nice little game this. Not sure about that crowd sound, to be honest. Yes, move! No, he doesn't move. It's all down to player 1 or 2. Guardian 2. This is a Defender clone, of which there are many, and the sounds of this are quite nice to the ear. Animates really well, the graphics are good, it's as hard as nails like any Defender clone should be. This is a good one, I think. Nice budget game. Sounds remind me very much of arcade cabinets. Have to rescue those aliens from down below. Not aliens, humans. What am I talking about? They're one of us. Kaboom! Batman the movie, based on the Batman film by Michael Keaton. I played this mainly on the Commodore Amiga, but the Spectrum game holds up really well. Large sprites there of Batman. You've got that grappling hook to go up. There's various levels, one where you're actually flying the Batcopter, the Batmobile as well. You get a lot for your money in this game. Really, really impressive by Ocean, and they produced heaps of games back in the day. I'm Batman. Of course you are. Space Harrier, directly from the arcades. This game shouldn't really be possible on a ZX Spectrum, but somehow they've managed to code it, and I believe this is better than Space Harrier 2 they did a bit later on, or a different publisher did it later on. Just goes to show you a bit of care, you can come up with something really good. I mean, the thing that impresses me most is this checkerboard animation of the ground. How on earth they've done that, I do not know. The colours of the background change quite nicely from stage to stage. It is rather tricky. Gauntlet. It's a maze type game, this one. You can select to be an elf, wizard or warrior or someone else. You must collect the key each time, destroy all the ghosts, well, destroy the ones that are in your way at least, and then get to a portal. Gradually gets more and more difficult. I believe there's about over 100 stages. Enough to keep you going directly from the arcades. Much more fun in multiplayer, I'd have to say, but a good conversion on the ZX Spectrum. Die, you ghosts. Ghosts can be killed by an arrow. You might not have known that. Dragon Spirit, a really nice idea, also from the arcades. It's a vertical shooter, as you might have noticed, in some sort of prehistoric dinosaur times. You can get power-ups to have multiple heads, which all fire different weaponry. Things come at you from the ground and from the air. The colour makes it a bit hard. Look at that, blue on blue. That's always tricky. Finally, Flying Shark had that, yellow on yellow. That makes it unnecessarily difficult. But okay, this game. Now, Shadow of the Beast, this is on the 128K, originally come out on the Commodore Amiga, and they've had a go of it on the Spectrum. It looks a bit crazy, the background there, but how have they done this as well? Brilliant. We've got a few games here on the 128K converted from the Commodore Amiga. But you control Arbron, who must get his body back and rescue various, I think it's his wife or his girlfriend or his dog or something. Music's really, really good on this one, and it's a fantastic attempt to Shadow the Beast. Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. They should have made this full screen, because although it animates quite well, the frame rate isn't brilliant, and the limited view rate, I mean this is on easy mode, the limited view rate makes it very, very difficult. But if you had a Spectrum and not an Amiga or an Atari ST, this is you wouldn't have been too dismayed with this one. It does bring Lotus to your computers, but at the end of the Spectrum's run, it really didn't have a hope of recreating it, and they've done a fairly good job. Shadow Warriors. This game is frustrating. Again on the 128K. Originally come out on the arcades. The success of fighting seems a bit random. The screenplay what you're fighting on is not very big. A lot of it's taken up by the scoreboard there, so you're playing on basically a postage stamp. Shadow Warriors, better in the arcades, but you know, struggling on the ZX Spectrum again from that era where it was taking on games that it really couldn't handle. Spellbound, the second in the Magic Knight series, which consisted of 4 games from Mastertronic. The first one was Finders Keepers, which is my favourite of the 4. And then you've got this unique menu system on the last 3, where you get to pick up objects, cast spells, combine things, and generally puzzle solve all the way through. I haven't completed any of them, but we'll look at them. I reviewed the last 3 are all in order, really. Finders Keepers was a little while ago. You can speak to people like that hobo to get clues of what to do. Nighttime is in the future, in space on a spaceship. He must escape. Terrible colour clash on this game. They really didn't know how to handle that at all. Some games are very well in colour clash. This one they didn't even bother. When I say colour clash, it's when the knight goes in front of that armchair. Look at that, and it all goes green. Why oh why? Nighttime. What's next after this one? I can't remember. We'll soon find out. It's Stormbringer, of course, the last of the 4. You're in the woods here. You must defeat an ogre of some description, I think. But same thing again. Pick up objects. La 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 la. It's really nighttime with different graphics. It's the same game. How have Mastertronic got away with that? But for some reason they can't do a round moon. That moon's slightly misshapen. Maybe it's been hit by an asteroid. Who's that fella? It's Blue Bloke. See you later, Blue Bloke. Look at that cloud striking lightning. So that's the problem with wearing armour. Days of Thunder, based on the film with Tom Cruise in. Terrible on the Commodore Amiga and still pretty terrible on the ZX Spectrum, but I can let it go here because they're not playing with much memory. But this game is not much fun. You qualify and then you race on a selection of ovals, which all seem roughly the same. All the cars are blue, you can pit, and that's about it really. Not much fun. But some people might have spent hours on this one. Not me. I gave it a wide berth. 2-bin. Now this is fun. Converted from the arcades. The control method is a bit tricky on this. But you're this man in a rubber ring. You have to progress as far as you can down the rapids by avoiding all the nasties. You can fire cans by picking them up and hitting the fire button. But there's a lot of things here. An alligator will chase you if you're too slow. And you can have it on 2 players as well. This is great fun, this game. I really recommend it. Have it on the Commodore Amiga as well. Haven't played it on any other system. Oh, we should have clicked that T. Trapdoor 2, through the trapdoor. Continuing on from the original game Trapdoor, which you've already reviewed. This time you can control Burke and that spider Drut. You fall down the trapdoor like so. And you must pick up things and solve stuff to actually escape. Come on, Drut, fall down. Whee! Cusplado. So we're down the trapdoor now, but there's all sorts of beasts down here. Here's some. Oh god, I don't like the look of that. Through the Trapdoor by Piranha, I think this game was. But good old Burke. Space Harrier 2. Preferred the first one, but this one's okay as well. Not sure about this white stuff. It's very hard to see what you're doing here. White things firing at you and you're a white character also. It's very hard to see, but again, animated brilliantly, the ground at least. The rest of it, a bit awkward. Space Harrier 2. Don't think there's a Space Harrier 3. Not that I've found out anyway. Trashman. Now this is an old classic from the early 80s. You live in the dream here. You're this trash man. You must collect empty bins of rubbish in your blue van there without getting run over. And before the time runs out, which you can see on that bonus thing on the top right. It goes down quicker if you go over the grass. If you run out of time, you lose your job as a trash man. So you really live in the dream in this game. Really a bit of escapism. Empty the bin. Oops, not there. You have to get round the back, you know. Continental Circus. One of many Formula 1 games on the ZX Spectrum. This is one of the better ones. Control takes a little bit of getting used to with the high and low gears. But basically, you've seen the rank's 97. You must get up to a certain rank. So you've got qualified before the rank of 80. And it gets gradually more difficult from track to track. But it's a good game, this one, on the ZX Spectrum. Continental Circus come out on a number of systems here. I think it was in the arcades first of all. Cockatony Wilf. This is a curio. You won't get too many games like this. You control this flying fellow, which I presume is called Wilf, through different territories. This one is the prehistoric, but it does go to other territory. You must collect all the objects. There's a white spiky thing on the right there, which I didn't collect. There's one by that hippo triceratops there in yellow. Collect all of those and then you complete the level and go on to the next stage. By Elite, so really novel game this one, I like it, I'm a fan. As I die. Weklemans! This is one of the better racing games on the ZX Spectrum because of its smooth animation and the speed. Hats off to the coders, they've done an awesome job on this one. Car looks a bit tall, but apparently I've been told the normal cars look a bit like that in the Le Mans Rally. See the time ticking down in the middle? We must reach each checkpoint before that runs down to 0. Really nice game this one. If you're looking for a racing game on the ZX Spectrum and you're just getting into it, or you've had a Spectrum for a while and you haven't come across this, Weklemans. Way of the Exploding Fist, this is a classic, and a couple of sequels, including IK+. But essentially you go through different levels. You must win points by knocking the guy down, which is represented by those zodiac or paisley pattern signs, yin-yang symbols. Get 2 of those and you get on to the next stage. Take that, you fool. Yes, karate looks pretty basic by today's standards, but at the time this was awesome. Bruce Lee, talk about awesome. There he goes, running around a bit like Daley Thompson. There's 2 guys after you, a thin chap and a fat fellow. You must collect all the bells and then get up to the next level. See that red trap door? I believe that opens once you get all the symbols. But a really good game this one. One of the better ones. Would have to go down as an all-time classic. Go Bruce! Not Bruce Forsyth. See those yellow bells down the bottom? We've got to collect those. There's a big porcupine rabbit thing. Go on Bruce Lee. Saint Dragon, a very slow horizontal shooter, but interesting at the same time, only because you control a metal dragon. Yes, the head is vulnerable, but this tail, you can take as much damage as you want on the tail, so that helps with blocking the weapons. So it's very unique in that respect. It does move very slow though, I have to say. There's a power up there. Interesting. There we go. You need a power up on all shoot 'em ups. Wacky Darts, one of a few darts games on the ZX Spectrum. This one's probably the most tricky. You play against a number of opponents here. A number of different options. Normal darts going from 501, and also around the clock where you go try and hit 1, 2, 3 all the way around to 20. Numerous comic opponents. This is the archer, but there is one guy that has a bazooka, and various other drunkards. It's all what darts is about. Boo! Full throttle! You'll never hear any motorbike sound like this. I don't know what they was thinking here, but they done the best of what they can with the ZX Spectrum 48K. Full throttle! This brings you motorbike action, but one positive on this, it moves very fast. It's very annoying in the race, because as soon as you touch someone, your speed goes down to practically 0. Not like a normal motorbike, you normally flip over the handlebars. But an interesting classic. I suppose you'd have to say this is historic when racing games is getting going. And this led to Full Throttle 2, which I prefer the gameplay of Full Throttle 1, really. Look at this, how annoying is this? The amount of people you got to race against here. But eventually when you get past the main gaggle of them, or just wait a bit, they do thin out a little bit. But it's so annoying. You get hit by one, hit by another, and it's very hard to get going again. Distance represented by that bar in the top middle. Yeah, again the bike sounds really, really weird. Ultimate play the game, Nightshade. All the sounds are there. You control this knight fellow. Looks a bit like the knight from Attic Attack, which is probably my all-time favourite game, just for classic nostalgia value. But you must wander around this place collecting items and then killing 4 beasties, which is represented by those outlines in the bottom. Well, middle stroke right. Quite big, this map. If you bump into anything, it's instant death. They did like these 3D games. Mr. Wimpy, it's a Burger Time clone. Sponsored, I presume, by the Wimpy restaurant. You must collect all these burgers, well, make 4 burgers down the bottom by walking over the ingredients, which you can see by the buns at the top, the 2 fillers and the buns at the bottom. Get them into the bowls and then you go on to another maze. Before you get to that bit, there's an interesting mini game initially. We have to go across without getting hit by some bug, getting 3 main ingredients. It's okay, this game. Gunfight, made with the same engine as Nightshade by Ultimate Play the Game. This looks a bit like Saberman. I think it might be him from Saberwolf and the classic Nightlaw. Again, venture around, don't get hit by anyone because you just die or turn into a hat like that. Wanted, you got to catch Buffalo Bill. He's that man with the saucepan on his head on the left. Yeah, he said he looks pretty vicious, doesn't he? Dead or alive, it says. He'll probably just walk off a cliff by accident at some point. Saboteur Classic game, this one. Huge sprites on here. You control this Saboteur, obviously, and you must venture around. You can pick up items and eventually blow up something and then escape on a monorail, I think. I never completed it, so I don't know. If you did complete it, comment below. Your strength represented by that red bar, and it does go back up again. Right, I've picked up a brick. Hooray! Oh look, there's the monorail, or is it the car from Scooby-Doo? Cookie, a very early game from Ultimate Play the Game. You're some chef. We'll turn up in a minute. Where are you, chef? There we go. There's a bowl down the bottom there and 2 dustbins. You must get all the ingredients coming out of this pantry into that bowl, as you see a countdown there. If any of the bad stuff goes into it, like that worm or that can, then the counter goes up again. But you can just cheat here by going where I am and just shoot it up. You probably get through about 3 rounds using that. Booty! You're on a pirate ship. You by collecting keys you unlock these doors and you must get all the booty from the whole of the ship. And this ship is huge. There's lots of screens there. There's guys with flat heads and arrows. I'm a pirate, says I. Savvy? Well, maybe. Good game. Good game. I sound a bit like Bruce Forsyth then. Booty, good name as well. Not enough pirate games. Now this game's dodgy. Crazy Cars. It's dodgy on the Amiga and it's dodgy on this. Look at this car. It looks so blocky. The controls bad. The road's featureless. Yeah. There's not much I can say about this. It moves quite quickly. Does it? I suppose. But collision detection's awkward. You never feel 100% in control of it. It's Crazy Cars. But I prefer it to Crazy Cars 2, which we'll come to, because that was even worse in my opinion. Really odd sounds on it. Cyber Run by Ultimate Play the Game. Probably best played with pokes because it's too difficult. You control this ship and you must collect numerous upgrades. I've already collected the boosters by the look of things on the reverse of the ship. But in the end you collect a grappling hook and have to pick up some sort of oil or rock mining or something. Cyber Run, bit of an overlooked game because it's so difficult. Kaboom! In space, no one can hear you explode. I love the sounds of Ultimate Play the Games. Oh, here we go. Crazy Cars 2. Look at that. It looks even worse. Look at the sky. This police car looks suspect. You touch one thing and the car just explodes. No parts, you just explode. It's a spontaneously combusting car. There's one word for this game. Well, it's probably loads, but the one I can say without being too rude is annoying. Let's see how long it takes to explode. Almost no, we're all okay here. Saboteur 2. It's all about stealth, so we turn up in a bright yellow hang glider. That's got to make sense. Carrying on from Saboteur 1, but this time your Saboteur is a Saboteuress. It's a lady. And how have they made it look like a lady? Well, they've made all the enemy about a foot taller, so saying that women are smaller than blokes. That's what they've done. There they are, looking big like they are. Hello, big people. Oh, dearie me, flamethrower to the belly. That's not good. Animation slightly better. Right, Roland's Rat Race. Weird TV tie-in here. Based on Roland Rat. He's armed with a glue gun. Don't know why. He's in the sewer and he has to make it to TVAM in a certain time limit because that's where he works now. This doesn't look like Roland Rat. I don't know why his enemy is a boot. I don't know why he's got a glue gun. This game's just weird. Is it a classic? No. Novel how the game, the screens animate when you go from one to the other, the transitions. Maziacs. Now, I really love this game. This come from a recommendation. Didn't know much about it in the day. There's people trapped in this maze. They show you the way to go with this yellow line. But basically, you've got a sword. It's good for one fight. We should probably use it soon. You've got to find where we're fighting the Maziacs. You've got to find the treasure and then get back to the start. And it's as simple as that. They don't get as more classic than this, people. Maziacs. Check it out. Early 80s. Saracen, another maze game. Not quite as good as Maziacs in my opinion, but more sophisticated. Different levels, things to do, like collect a key. That should put it on this plinth. So it's all about solving to get through bits of the maze. Level 1 starts off easy, then it gets a bit crazy. You can fire those arrows. I believe we have to fire an arrow into this thing and then fire an arrow into that cross which it produces. Yeah, I know. Saracen! Moon Alert! Based on the arcade game Moon Patrol. Quite frustrating, this game, but once you get used to it, I quite like it. By pressing the space bar, well, the key to read the final, really. You have to jump over stuff, and if you don't quite make it, even by a pixel, the moon buggy will explode. Moon Alert! Moves a bit slower than Moon Patrol, the arcade. Look, we're in bit B here. B! We're on some sort of alien planet. We've got to get back to a ship. Now this game, Kickstart 2, based on the kids' series called Kickstart and Junior Kickstart. I'm up the top and you're racing the computer down the bottom over various stunt obstacles. The good bit of this game is there's an editor, so you can edit all the obstacles to your heart's desire. But very, very tricky to judge the speed of certain things. But not my favourite game, but not that bad. Some people would like it. I'm not overly keen. Kickstart 2. Probably better on the Commodore 64. I know, I just said that. And I'm a Spectrum man. 180. Probably better than Wacky Darts, only because it's slightly easier to control. But the premise is the same. You have to defeat various people to win the final. But jolly music. Good to play this game once you've had a few pints, I think. 180. A dog does come in and relieve itself on the bar later on. Cracking game, this one. Now this game is the first homebrew I've ever reviewed, and the only one to date. It's Castlevania Spectral Interlude, and the graphics and sound of this are brilliant, but it was made in 2015, but it was on a Spectrum 128K. Look at this game. I'm absolutely in awe. I think it was Free Guys coded this, or musically coded this. Never released commercially as far as I'm aware. It's, you know, homebrews. This is how to do it. I need to review a few more homebrews. This is the first time I've done. 3D Star Strike, based on Star Wars, the arcade cabinet. And this is actually better than the actual conversion, the official conversion of Star Wars that come a bit later. 3D Star Strike, I could play this for absolutely ages. I think it might make my top 10 Spectrum games of all time. Look, there's TIE Fighters, but they're not really TIE Fighters. Various stages on this. There's a trench run as well. You couldn't ask for more. Did have a sequel, which we'll come to in a second. 3D Star Strike. No, this is Star Strike 2, the sequel. The graphics on this are great. It's got shaded polygon graphics. Now that isn't easy to do. In my opinion, the gameplay isn't quite as good as 3D Star Strike, but what they've done here is awesome. It's a little bit tricky as we dock with this space station. It's a spinning 50p piece or something. Star Strike 2. Bit tricky. Bit laggy. Now I don't understand this bit. Anyway, we have to fire and kill things. Beach Buggy Simulator, based on Moon Patrol as well, I think. Not as good as Moon Alert, although it does move quite a bit quicker. But it's obviously trying to be that. But the car just explodes too much and it just goes too quick to control. Beach Buggy Simulator. It doesn't look like a beach buggy, it looks like a car. Yes. Could have been excellent, but in the end it isn't. Some people will love this if you get the hang of it. It's just the speed. Rodland on the ZX Spectrum, 128K. Very monochrome, this game. These games are sort of like based... Well, they need multiple colour. That was the main thing of the arcade. To see it in monochrome is a bit disappointing. But maybe they didn't have enough memory. There's quite a lot going on this, so maybe I'll forgive it a little bit. But that lets it down. Collect the flowers, numerous levels. It's okay. It's okay. Better on other systems, though, I would have to say. 3D Monster Chase. This is one from the ancient vaults. You must explore a maze, avoid these strange bat-like things. That's a bat, believe it or not. You can fire grenades, which we've just done. You must find keys and then defuse bombs on 3 levels of a maze. Interesting from an early coding point of view, but pretty boring nowadays. Probably won't go back to it. Could have been better. But anyway, it's interesting. A Question of Sport, based on the times when Coleman was doing it, as you see him in the middle there. You select your team, there's various rounds. Answer that question if you can. It's not Rio de Janeiro, the answer, but you can't get it. You control Ian and you play Bill Beaumont. Not much to it, but it's good fun. It's another pub game. So I've had a few jars. I'll play 180, then maybe a question of sport as well. A question of sport. A Day in the Life. This features around the inventor of the ZX Spectrum. It's Sir Clive Sinclair, and well, his disembodied head really. Number of screens on this. It's hard as now. It's ultra difficult, but it ends with him being knighted at Buckingham Palace. You see, I've got to collect a coat, then a key will turn up in the attic, collect that, avoid the bug, get out onto the next screen. A curio of all curios. But there'll be a lot more curios to come, actually. And that was the 150th one. So thank you for watching those, if you have done. If you want to see what other games we've reviewed so far, have a look at Spectrum Games 1 to 50 and 51 to 100. Thanks for watching as always. Until next time, take care and goodbye. Goodbye.